Game one in the bag, Luv Deez snakes it out despite not taking Zapdos with some great zoning, as you mentioned, Joe. What can the end do here in game two, now that they've seen the texture of game one, to make an impact and kind of stem this bleeding on the quest of the best of five?
Well, I don't think they did too much wrong, to be honest. A couple early Dreadnoughts going the way of Luv Deez rather than the end, and that gives them a small level disadvantage. But they were able to keep it close, and obviously they did take the Zapdos, and it was only really like a 100-point gap, which sounds like a lot, but really that's the difference between like one big score and not. So still a very close game here. So there's not much in the way of strategy that has to go too differently for them. Maybe just a little bit earlier tempo and taking some key objectives like that Dreadnought, which we found is becoming more and more impactful.
Yeah, they aggressively went after that top lane. We saw, the chasing of the Corphish early with that same Lucario and Eldegoss setup in the top lane. And I'd like to see that again, try and mitigate the impact that Dreadnought can have on the game by maybe poaching some of the mobs from the other side of the board and keeping your experience rolling while kind of depriving this Luv Deez squad from their own experience.
The one subtle difference here already we can see is Lutano's actually fed Indie Bear that little bit faster compared to game one, which is going to be important to actually get it evolved up where it starts to power spike that little bit quicker to really be more helpful to the team earlier on.
Yeah, just a little 2-on-2, more of a street scrap breaking out, kind of retreating, coming back in, getting some heals. They're just trying to bully each other across this map a little bit, take some of the mobs, and actually Dexter and Gosu are able to take the APOM on Luv Deez's side of the board, which is kind of what I was hoping to see to try and mitigate that Dreadnought, and looks like the end heard me through the screen, as that's exactly what they seem to be thinking right now themselves.
It is these small margins, Lutano's still level 3, as is Indie Bear right now. Corphish about to get knocked out, but we're coming up to Bees right about now, and we'll see who can claim a few knockouts here, as we already see an Eldegoss up compared to the Gossiper.
Very interesting. Carvenin rolled up, and Weriton rolled down for the end. So we've got a classic 3v2 here, and this would be a good time to bully if they want it. And Lutano hiding in the grass, waiting for the opportunity, maybe going to try and steal the Corphish from Dexter, as Gosu and Dexter try and take care of the APOM there. Lutano rolling down, easy Corphish. You did most of the damage. I'll go ahead and clean it up for you. And here's Weriton saying, uh-oh, we had a 3-on-2. I'm rolling up. And now Lutano is caught and split from the squad as he's getting chased down. Gosu, Weriton, and Dexter trying to keep the pressure on, and they're down. Great move. And now that makes a lopsided sit on the top side of the board as just the lone Eldegoss saying, hey guys, still up here.
I think it was good value, though. I think it allowed Indie Bear to score what points they did have. So I don't think it's actually a bad KO there for Lutano. There's never a good time to get knocked out in this game, but the time is still short, and you're helping your team out get some points on the board themselves while you find yourself out of position, which you can't really help here. As we are seeing again a ton of action down bot lane, as Lucario is going to get a few more points in.
Yeah, we see, as you just mentioned, Indie Bear rolled down, maybe getting ready for the Dreadnought push here. Dexter leashing Lutano around, trying to see where they're going to end up and try not to get too far behind on any side of the board here. And Dexter in the middle, getting bullied a little bit. And Lutano sees some blood in the water, smells some blood in the water, and makes that Dexter retreat into the bizarre middle jungle of their side of the map, as that's not where any of the action is right now. And Lutano able to continue farming without too much pressure. And they've got to feel great about that. Little scrap breaking out down south with 3 seconds left to Dreadnought. Lutano on the easy farms here as they decide when they're going to get into the mix.
Yep, timing the jungle perfectly by the looks of things for Lutano. He can actually get involved here. It looks like the rest of his team are closer to his turret than the middle. It looks like the end are that little bit further ahead in the action. So he's just waiting, biding his time to see if he can catch anyone who's on low hit points, or to see if his team can actually close that gap.
Incredibly patient by Lutano. If I'm in their shoes, maybe I'm seeing Gosu, the Eldegoss, roll up too high by themselves, and I try to make a move here. But they're playing incredibly patient and just kind of retreating back up, saying, all right, kind of seems like we have things sorted there. You can actually see Carvenin went back into the jungle, and it's a 3v5 downstairs, and Dreadnought hasn't been taken yet. Thinking, I've got plenty of time. Go get a couple more mobs. It's a 5v3 push into the turret, but that leaves leaves Dreadnought completely open, and now Carvenen's coming down, Lutano's coming down, and the push is swinging back the other way, and they're fully healed up, kind of ready to go, as Dreadnought has yet to have been significantly engaged. And here we see Gosu, Weriton, and Lutano being a bully, Dexter's making moves, Carvenen kicking the soccer balls all over the place, Xavier G gets caught, goes down, Gosu gets caught, goes down. And Weriton is scrambling backwards, and now it's a 5-on-4, and they're just waiting for Gosu to come back down, and without heals, you can wipe the other side of the squad real quickly. Bang, Dreadnaught's down, and that was just the window they needed to bully the end out, take the Dreadnought, and feel pretty good about them, as they didn't feed them a single KO throughout that exchange. If I'm Luv Deez, I gotta feel great. Carvenen even got to jungle. Lutano went back in the middle, got more mobs. What an amazing stand on that 3v5 in their own turret. I mean, I don't think you could have written it up any cleaner than that, as now Lutano's all high on themselves, making Dexter scream back to their turret. Doesn't even chase them down, just sends them packing, and like, I'll take another Audino. Let's go. Feed me more.
Really incredible exchange. They did not look favorites there to actually get that Dreadnought at all. Put up a great defense. Zugrug doing some really big work as the Snorlax, keeping them off the scores, and then was able to even push them further back to the point where the entire team, Lutano and Cinderace, got a huge amount of damage into that Dreadnought. So a late Dreadnought being claimed, and now Lutano's defending on his own right now, as it looks like there's a bit of an overload down this bot lane. It's going to be difficult for him to defend, but Rotom has been taken on the top, so that's where the focus is at for Luv Deez right now.
Yeah, you know, just like you said, a little bit of zoning by Lutano, trying to buy some time. Here comes Goof to give a little bit of support. But something I want you to note here, Lutano is level 10, the same level, or was just a moment ago, as the same level as Werdion on the side of the end, who is their jungler. And that's not a situation you ever want to be in. Using this opportunity, they're dunking point from the turret as Zugrug pulls out the opposing Dexter there, I believe is who it was. And now they're First and Xavier Tree are trying to push back up, kind of fruitlessly, as now Lutano decides, I'll go back to my lane. Dexter and Gosu up here. I feel much higher leveled. I think I'm gonna go ahead and bully them around a little bit, or just take these mobs and level up a little bit further myself. Lutano's been all over this map in a very impactful way and an incredibly patient and intelligent way, and you got to think that it's making a big difference for that team.
Yeah, it's a different way of zoning, really. You're not really claiming one part of the map, and you're almost doing the opposite of what the remainder of your team is doing. You're almost like a pseudo jungler in that, right? Because you have such a big, the power-up punch is such a big impact play that you can go for claiming objectives. That it becomes so important.
Big knockout there. Xavier G goes down. Werdion goes down. Dexter goes down. Gosu's getting eaten up. Nom, 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 nom. Give me that cotton ball. It's gone, and I'm getting my 19 points in. And Dreadnought obviously just went to Luv Deez, as now we kind of feel like this landslide is building, and the pressure is on for the end to make moves, and I'm not sure they have the experience or the levels to make that happen, and we're going to see ourselves another Zapdos game. This time, it's going to be even more critical to knock it down early, get those dunks, and be able to defend.
And it's going to be way more difficult this time around for the end, because as you said, level disadvantage is really starting to show. We're seeing level 12s, level 11s around the board for Luv Deez, where it's level 9s and 10s for the end right now. So they really need to try and claim something here and get some more experience in. As it's a huge skirmish at the top. Once again, it's going to be Lutano fighting out on his own, claiming the bees for himself, and just pushing that Eldegoss away. You know you can't 1v1 a Lucario in this situation. So you're just being aggressive, taunting the Eldegoss, even scoring on him, just styling on him at this point.
Yeah, Lutano not interested at all, and like, yeah, go. So you can chip at me if you want. That's fine. I'm just gonna get all these orbs down here. I'm gonna build up my stash for when the 2-minute mark rolls around and the Zapdos fight breaks out. Just picking up the orbs. Gosu can't help but feel that they didn't have any impact in that particular exchange, as they're just getting posterized with a mean dunk, and Lutano just not even concerned at all. And now Luv Deez framing up themselves for a little bit of defense. Lutano goes back, going to use that springboard and shoot up top. Very unique strategy here by Lutano, as they are just buying their time until they join the fray in the middle. If they do at all, they're jumping in the upper grass, bone rushing around, just doing it in the most stylized way possible. And now they're scoring a clean 100 burger, Joe, with no pressure whatsoever. As look where the fight is. It's not even near Zapdos anymore. And you want to talk about leashing your opponent in the wrong direction. He's taking the bottom turret down to join the fray. They're so far away from Zapdos, and they don't win this game without it. And now they finally realize that. First in Xavier G, Ghosts were like, oh, we actually need Zapdos now. And they brought the fight back to Zapdos. But look at that HP disparity as Xavier G goes down. First is about to go down. Just the Unite move, the Aura Blast there from Lucario taking another Wereton off the map. And now First is getting chunked up as Gosu's doing their best. First is down, Gosu's getting pushed out, and no interest on the side of Luv Deez to even start this Zapdos. You got to love that decision. They've identified that they needed to win, and they're not going to give the end any support in that objective here, as Xavier G is just making a big block trying to retreat here, and they just get chewed up. Ninetales
Snorlax
finally back in the
again.
mix. Yeah,
Snorlax down again. There's no defense here at all. Luv Deez don't even need to score at this point. They've known that they've been in the advantage the entire game. May as well just take the opportunity while so many people are down, but it was absolutely destruction there for Luv Deez. They constantly had that level advantage in this round. That's where it wasn't close. In that first game, the end was able to keep up despite missing some objectives. They were still able to weave in Rotom here and there and still keep that little bit of pace. This time around, they were just a massive disparity in terms of levels, and it meant that in those last, dying seconds where Zapdos can be so vital, you can't even get close to that objective. We even saw Lucario scoring just for fun, really, just to get them in. There were so many points scattered around the board that all they had to focus on was defense at that point on.
I just want to point out the difference that one level makes here. If we look at Carvin and the jungler for Luv Deez and Werdion, the jungler for the end, 0 points scored by either. Fine, they're your jungler. They're there to do some damage. 1-1 for Werdion, 6-5 there for Carvin. And that one level is a huge disparity in the late stages of the game. And then you look at Lutano and Goof, both 13, the same level as the jungler on the other side of the board. And they were just working their lanes, farming mobs intelligently, understanding when they were needed and when they wouldn't add much value to certain team fights, and really trusted in the power of Indie Bear and Zugrug to help keep their team alive so they could go do the other things that they needed so they could really slam the door on the end. Joe, game 3, where do you want to see this go?
Well, I think defensively, Luv Deez was so strong there. As you can see, only 1 kill for the end in that game. So we need to see the end get that little bit more aggressive here and actually start, trying to get some overloads number-wise. Got to see the jungler getting that little bit more aggressive to try and gank, even risk themselves in the mix to try and, make something happen, make some shifts here, because Luv Deez have just been able to defend so well and never really found themselves in threatening positions. They've always had, at least an even number in the fights for Dreadnought, for Rotom, for Zapdos. We need to see some big ganks if we're going to see some overloads here and really push back Luv Deez because they've had it all their way so far.
Yeah, I don't want to throw too much weight on the shoulders of Werdion there for the end, but it's up to them to make some big plays here. And as you said, kind of ganks out of the grass to really try and turn the tides a little bit, get their KO count up, and of course, forcing the other team to feed into you to try and bring some parity back to a situation where maybe you can snowball a couple more KOs and get up in levels that way. Game 3 action on the horizon. Luv Deez up 2. This is a critical game for the end if they want to keep their tournament alive. We'll be right back.